This is the Bitcoin Otter Radio Show.
Oh my God, I love you so much!
On 97.7 FM, The City.
Greetings, blessings, and good fortune, everybody. It's another Thursday. More or less 6 o'clock. We're coming at you from 97.7 FM, KCYP, The City. Yes, McAllen, Texas. We're out of the McAllen Creative Incubator, which most activity has died down a bit. It's spring break after all, so we might not hear drums in the background. I'm almost going to miss it. Anyway, we're also going out on Facebook. We're going out on YouTube. We're going out on Radio Garden and TuneIn Radio. Two good apps. I can definitely attest to the Radio Garden one. It's good. Radio all around the world at your fingertips. I just made that up. Anyway, this is going to be a good show. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. I am going to be dealing with a different way of the chat. Okay, so if you're on YouTube, I can also see your chats now. So it's in a smaller little box, but I think I can handle it. I hope. Now, we're going to get into the barometer again. You know how I like to do the economic barometer at the beginning of the show. Let you guys know, and you know, hey, well, you know, these are the things that determine whether or not we want to do things like buy a house or invest in gold, things like that. So here we go. Gold pre-show. This was just an hour or two ago. $2,175 for an ounce of gold. Yeah, well, that's that. So we have silver, $25.07. Okay, $25.07 for an ounce of silver. To me, that is ridiculously low, and you might want to take advantage of it, but that's you. You do you. So if you have to buy a house, you absolutely have to buy a house. The 30-year average mortgage rate around the country is 7.15%. If you are lucky enough to be able to afford the 15-year rate, it will be 6.65% on average. So what we're looking at is something that is what you could say, and this is me saying it, okay? It's not you. Usurious. These are usurious, meaning this is usury, ladies and gentlemen. They are using and abusing us. And I don't like that. No, not one bit. However, that's just the way things are. Now, what I would like to say is that we have a great season going for Bitcoin. If you haven't noticed yet, then you might just be in a cave. You might want to check around, and I'm not saying Plato's cave, the proverbial cave of that great philosopher, of which I am not. However, you have to be hiding somewhere if you don't know that Bitcoin's on a tear. Now, it actually went down a little bit. We had a little retrace of all-time highs. Went up to 73,000 something. Okay. Now with Bitcoin, it does, each place kind of values it to a different degree. So we're in that range. Now, the important thing to remember is at some point, Bitcoin will retrace to a degree. We don't know when and we don't know how, but I'm going to be talking about that a little bit also. So I might look a little distracted to you, but I'm trying to get into the live stream, okay, so that I can see all the chats from wherever they are. And I can't right now get it. Sue, hey, Sue's on YouTube. Good to see you. Now, what I'm not seeing is who's popping up on Facebook. So, because I'm not in the Facebook stream. So, if you want to talk, please come on. But I can't right now see everybody that's in on Facebook. Again, we're monkeying around with this thing. I'll try to get into Facebook later on in the show also. Now, the first thing that we have going on is from Bitcoin.com. So, Robert Kiyosaki, do you remember him? He's the guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So, it was a big bestseller back in the day, and he's generally known as a really, a smart guy. I won't call him a savant because he's not, but he's a really smart guy. So, he says, better yet, he warns, and this is from Bitcoin.com, that the biggest bubble in history will wipe out boomers. Now, boomers have become the term itself has become more inclusive. The younger generation, and now everybody's a boomer to them, right? But boomers are usually the World War II generation. And I know my buddy Louie will have things to say about that, time frame, the actual denomination, if you want to call it that. But let's just say that they're World War II generally, right? He advises, Robert Kiyosaki does, that buying real assets like Bitcoin, okay, will help out. Yeah, well, somebody else who advises that too. But I am not a financial advisor. By any stretch of the imagination do I advise you to do something or other with your money. I will suggest, but I am not an advisor. Got no tie on this Hawaiian shirt. Okay? I just don't. And I refuse to wear a tie, especially on the show. Well, I don't refuse to wear it, but definitely not on the show. It wouldn't go well. So, Rich Dad, Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki has warned that the biggest bubble in history will wipe out baby boomers. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Time to get real is now, he says, and buy real assets like gold, silver, and Bitcoin before the biggest bubble in history goes bust. Kiyosaki has joined the chorus of bullish voices on Bitcoin, predicting, and these are his words, gents, ladies, this is Robert Kiyosaki predicting Bitcoin valuation, not the Bitcoin hour. Robert Kiyosaki predicts a surge to 300,000 by year's end. Oofa. $300,000 Bitcoin. Wow. Where would that put some of us? I don't know. I really wish that I had the foresight so I could actually have a whole Bitcoin. I don't even have close to a whole Bitcoin, and I'm sure there's many other people in the same boat I'm in. That being said, we will do our best to try and accumulate, because that's what it's all about. Accumulate the Bitcoin. That's the idea here, right? So he says this follows his previous forecast of $100,000 by June. Wow. By June. And we're getting there quickly. So we will see. Again, watch out, boomers, because I guess I read into the article that he believes that the 401ks of the first 401ks are shoddy, in his words. Now, I don't know what makes modern 401ks any better. They're still going to be valued in US dollars. So you go figure. Here's another one from Bitcoin.com. Speculation intensifies over US banking sector's fate as Fed's BTFP closure looms. I'm going to explain that BTFP. It doesn't mean what you know. This weekend, many are intrigued by the potential outcomes following the cessation of the U.S. Federal Reserve's Bank Term Funding Program, BTFP, the U.S. Federal Reserve's Bank Term Funding Program. Now, I want to say something here that Bitcoin.com didn't. The Federal Reserve is not part of the United States. It's not part of our government, and it's certainly not part of our country. Just so you know, it's private, and you're not in it. And it was launched amidst this, the BTFP was launched amidst the significant banking collapses in March of 2023. Do you remember that? I went back in my notes and we did cover this. So in March of 2023, we now have a 1-year delta, a delta meaning an overlap in time frame. We might be touching on that a little later, depending on how far we get. So I want to recap for all those on Facebook. I can't see you popping up. I have full confidence that you're there. I just can't see you on my Restream studio right now. But if you pop up with a comment, I will see you because I can see all platforms right now on this Restream. I guess it's a dashboard, if you will. So some argue that the banking turmoil is far from over. I'm one of those some. Suggesting it has merely been postponed. With institutions like New York Community Bank Corp, yeah, it sounds like they really mean, to do us well. And commercial real estate lenders floundering. We've talked about that also. During that period, the banking industry, that's March of 23, the banking industry saw the collapse of its third, fourth, and fifth largest banks. First Republic Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, and Signature Bank. So, I'm telling you, and this is me, if the third, fourth, and fifth largest banks went bing, and you know what that means, they're up, yeah. If they went up, underground, down, you know what I mean, then what about the first and the second? And is it possible that the only reason the first and the second didn't go under was because they put this BTFP, Bank Term Funding Program, together as a stopgap, a kicking of the can down the road, if you will, because that's exactly what they do, the people in the Federal Reserve, because, oh man, they've been screwing us royal. Oh, it's ugly what they've done to the United States since 1913, ladies and gentlemen. They've been ripping us off, robbing us of the value of our labor, of our time here on Earth. And what is time? Time is life. CoinDesk. Craig Wright is not Satoshi. So I don't know that many of you have been following this, but there are yahoos out there who come up and say, hey, I'm Satoshi. I wrote Bitcoin programming. I'm the one who started it all. So this yahoo, Craig Wright, is not Satoshi. Didn't author Bitcoin white paper, says the judge. It was a case. He was trying to take people to court that were blaspheming apparently, or saying bad things about Bitcoin or about him personally. I don't know, but he again is a yahoo. He didn't make anything anywhere close to Bitcoin. And if you know anything about Bitcoin, you know that whoever did program Bitcoin doesn't want to pop their head up. And there are good reasons for that. Just ask all the people who made their vehicles run on water. Where are they now? You won't find them. So, Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto or the author of the Bitcoin white paper, UK Judge James Mellor said, after closing arguments in the Crypto Open Patent Alliance trial. Eesh. Another one. The evidence presented during the month-long trial was overwhelming, the judge said, adding that he plans to write a ruling detailing his conclusions, including that Wright did not create the Bitcoin system. Well, that's obvious. So, another thing from CoinDesk, beware of Bitcoin's rising wedge. A little different from a wedgie that we're all familiar with, unfortunately, from, junior high, and maybe even some of us in high school. Remember that thing they used to do, the what did they call that, Joe? The initiation, right? So if you're a freshman going into high school, not so much anymore, I guess, but we would get initiated. Ooh, it wasn't fun, and wedgies abounded. Okay, so beware of Bitcoin's rising wedge, chart analyst says. A key price pattern has emerged on Bitcoin's price chart, hitting a potential pullback ahead. So I love to tell you how high Bitcoin's going to go, how great it is. And, if you so choose, I won't advise it, but if you so choose to invest, wow, you could make a lot of Bitcoin more because Bitcoin is money. Now, that's me speaking, right? This guy, a technical trader, and that's basically just reading the charts, finding the patterns in the charts, knowing that this pattern historically has resulted in this type of price movement, etc. So he says that basically the pattern that is emerging in the Bitcoin market is a bearish one, meaning that it might pull back a bit. Who knows? But just so you know, think ahead. If you are interested in Bitcoin, maybe wait a bit. Wait for the pullback, however far, however big it might be. I don't know. The cryptocurrency has rallied from 60,000 to new record highs above 70,000 in less than 2 weeks. The ascent has taken the shape of a rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. Didn't I just say that? This guy, according to technical analysis theory, okay? So it's bearish. Other indicators, like the 10-day rate of change, which measures how rapidly prices are surging or falling, over 10 days have decoupled from the rising prices. Technical jargon to say that there is something else besides the formation itself that backs his assessment. Okay, the divergence suggests a downside momentum is building, and perhaps price pullbacks will emerge. 20% or more pullbacks were common during the 2017 and the 2021 bull markets. Okay, so this is from the Gateway Pundit. And I want to mention this right now, everybody. And again, I'll say again, I'm not in Facebook right now. We're going out on Facebook, but I can't see you when you pop up on Facebook. So if you'd like to make a comment, I would love to see it, and I can through the Restream. We're going through Restream, so I will see that once you post a comment. So don't think that I'm not responding to comments. I am, but I don't see you come into the room because I don't have that in front of me right now. For whatever reason, I'm not able to bring it up on my Facebook page on my phone. So we'll go into that some other time. But what I can say is that I can see your comments. The Gateway Pundit says that lawyers for Boeing whistleblower, this is a long headline, but I'll explain this in a minute. Lawyers for Boeing whistleblower found dead in his car as he was about to testify against aviation giant, question suicide claim. So again, I don't like the way Gateway Pundit does it. They haven't asked me to come on their team, but they don't have good headlines at all. Anyway, there was a whistleblower in this whole, Boeing thing where these planes are going down. I can't remember the total of them, but there were a bunch of planes going down, and the Boeing MAX 737 is in question now, or at least the engineering aspect of that airplane is in question. So apparently there's a whistleblower out there who was testifying, in the midst of testifying, decided, I don't want to do this anymore, and exited the world. So they say. So they say. John Barnett, may God rest his soul, a truth seeker, like many of us. Lord willing, he knew who Jesus was before he died. John Barnett was dead on March 9. Was found dead on March 9. He worked for Boeing for 32 years until he retired in 2017. 32 years he put in. He might know a thing or two about Boeing after working with them for 32 years. Barnett's death came during a break in depositions in a whistleblower retaliation suit, where he alleged under pressure workers were deliberately fitting substandard parts to aircraft on the assembly line, the Daily Mail reported. So he was found dead on March 9 in the midst of a deposition. So, I mean, for you to think that it was a suicide, you have to be a TV watcher, someone of very, very low information income. You have to be a TV watcher to believe that he committed suicide. As a side note, and this is me reporting this, the whereabouts of Hillary Clinton at the time of Mr. Barnett's suicide is unknown. Actor Robert De Niro goes on pouty mouth triggered rant about President Trump. Trump responds that he has a terminal case of Trump derangement syndrome. Terminal, huh, Don? Terminal case. Interesting wording there. Anyway, Robert De Niro is one of those loud, very loud people. Matt, Clinton body count. I know, right? We don't know where she was, though. Matt, don't blame it on her. Okay, Matt says he was just watching A Noble Lie. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Matt. I cannot recommend A Noble Lie better. Matt, I don't know if you want to pipe up, but I think that was on Amazon. I think it's on Prime now. A Noble Lie. It's a full-length documentary on the Oklahoma City bombing. If you think you know a bit or two about the Oklahoma City bombing, think again. This is a very comprehensive documentary. It is documentary gold, ladies and gentlemen. The Oklahoma City bombing was prototypical of how the usual suspects operate. Okay? If you do believe in what the news tells you, you might be one of those people that comes on these kind of shows and just reports it so that Facebook or YouTube will strike it. Because the fact of the matter is, there are real live communists out there, and they don't like us patriots. Not one bit. Prime, says Matt. Okay, thanks, Matt. So it's on Prime. A Noble Lie. Okay. The Oklahoma City bombing. Ladies and gentlemen, you will learn more than you probably knew about it going into the documentary. Check it out. A Noble Lie. So, Robert De Niro goes on a potty mouth triggered rant. Now, Robert De Niro and others, Rob Reiner, are you out there? These people go on these rants against Trump and they swear and they just hate him and they froth at the mouth a lot too. Thanks for the link. Thanks, Matt. Matt threw out a link there, everybody. If you want to check it out in the chat there. He threw it out on Facebook for A Noble Lie. So this De Niro guy, and I don't even watch his movies anymore. He's a punk. He and others go on these crazy rants, and there's a reason for that. But let me get into the article here again from the Gateway Pundit. Left-wing Hollywood tool, and that's from the Gateway Pundit. I might have said much the same. But left-wing Hollywood tool Robert De Niro went on an unhinged rant last week with talk show host Bill Maher. He's another one. Calling Trump a total monster. Accusing supporters of only wanting to F with people. And he used the real word because, they say he's potty mouth. I won't do that. And vowing to never play him as an actor. Now, I want you to know that Robert De Niro, the classless individual that he is, has played child predators before. People that prey on children in all grisly ways. And you know what I'm talking about. Robert De Niro has played those roles. I won't go deeper because we're on Facebook and YouTube, but he has played those roles. Do you get it? There are many people out there, okay, that are complaining, very much complaining about Trump, who he is and what he's going to do after he gets into the presidency. And do you know why? Do you know why this De Niro crackpot says that he's going to become a dictator? And I think he even said on the show that he was going to do something to him, to De Niro. No, it wasn't Cape Fear, Matt. It was a different one. I was earlier in his career, but I can't remember which one. He played a full-blown child predator in all senses of the word. So he comes out and says these things about Trump, but the irony of it is that it's true, that Trump is going to do things to bring people like child predators to justice. And that's what they fear. That's why the frothing at the mouth. That's why the unhinged rants. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there is palpable fear in Hollywood. There is fear in DC, and for good reason, and for a good purpose. They need to be held in fear. They need to be motionless, if at all possible, so that they don't go after children anymore. But justice will be served, one way or the other. This is from The Guardian. After 2 weeks of violence and chaos, Ariel Henry has announced his resignation. I'm talking about Haiti, ladies and gentlemen. This from The Guardian is about Haiti. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Haiti is in an uproar. Haiti is boiling over. It's a crazy place to be right now. Glad I'm not there. Thankfully, we're in the RGV. We're okay. But Haiti, its explosion, the whole situation, and I'll brief you a little bit here, but it's happening, and it's happening now. Those are two things that are not to be separated, in my opinion. This is from The Guardian. Okay, they're part of the mainstream scum media. Yeah. So The Guardian says, and this is their leading after the headline, or like a subtitle sort of thing. After 2 weeks of violence and chaos, Ariel Henry has announced his resignation. And then there's a dash. Here's all you need to know. Huh, you Guardian sons up. All we need to know. So the Guardian is going to tell us all we need to know. We don't need to know anything else about Haiti. Only what the Guardian tells us. CNN does this too. All we need to know. You know what we need to know, Guardian? You know what we need to know? CNN, MSNBC, Fox. You know what we need to know, Fox? Nothing from you. If you were to go away, you would be doing the world a service. That, I believe, is true. I can wholeheartedly say that I believe that if the mainstream media were to leave, just shutter, just stop broadcasting, they'd be doing the world a service. You see, we are the news now. We are the news now. So, going on, a special forces police officer turned gang kingpin called Jimmy Barbecue Cherizer had said the criminal group's mission was to overthrow the country's unpopular leader, Ariel Henry, and liberate its 11.7 million citizens from anti-democratic rule, says Jimmy Barbecue Cherizer. Okay. We're going to touch on Jimmy Barbecue Cherizer in a little bit here. So, what else do we have for you? Oh, this is going to be interesting. You think it's somehow related? Florida braces, this is out of Politico. Florida braces for surge in Haitian migrants amid humanitarian crisis. Yeah. I don't see it on, the internet, and I don't see it on my notes, but there's a fingerprint here, and we're going to get into that in a minute. Florida lawmakers are already preparing for an influx of Haitian migrants and warning that American security could be jeopardized if the U.S. doesn't do more to help Haiti. Though the country has rarely been a top foreign policy priority. Yeah. So these are my notes after a couple of these articles. Looking through these, sifting through these, preparing the show for you all. Haiti has been catastrophically destabilized. Can you say color revolution? I think you can. I imagine you can. Those of us with vocal cords can say color revolution. How does that fit, you might ask? Well, there are experts in things like color revolutions. And if you're wondering come on, man, back up. What is a color revolution? Okay, so a color revolution is a non-organic, meaning it's not grassroots. It doesn't erupt from the people themselves. It is seeded with a D, seeded, S-E-E-D-E-D, by outside actors. You might want to call them agent provocateurs, okay? And there are certain agencies out there, some of which, the best of which, are here in the United States. They specialize in color revolutions. Basically what it is an overthrow of a legitimately elected president, cabinet, whatever de facto ruling strategy, I guess you could say, for whatever constitution exists in a nation. Okay, in this case, it was a president. Okay, Renee, good to see you. Send the Del Rio Horse Patrol to Florida so they can whip the Haitians again. I would say that'd be a great one. That would be good, Renee, to send them down there, maybe, keep things in order. Oh, man. And just for you viewers who are very sensitive, okay, maybe communist sympathizers, we don't know. The Del Rio Horse Patrol did not whip anyone. They didn't whip anyone. It was good. Good comment, Renee. I like that. But they're probably busy in Del Rio now with the massive amounts of of invaders. Anyway, good one, Renee. Noe, what did you miss? A few things, but right now we're talking about Haiti, Noe. We're talking about Haiti, and Lord willing, they're not going to ship you there because it's on fire, en fuego, if you will. So I'm talking about a color revolution. I'm talking about an overthrow of an established government fairly, or at least to the constitution of the nation that enabled it, fairly voted in, fairly elected governance, be it a prime minister, be it a president, whatever. In this case, it was Ariel Henry in Haiti, who was ousted by this, was it Jimmy Barbecue Chazer, or whatever his name is. So in Haiti, in this time period, oh, you might say, Otter, it's been going on for years. Oh, it has been. The Clintons know that. So does the Clinton Foundation. And the woman that was convicted of trafficking, yes, in Haiti. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Look that up. Look that up. I don't have anything on today's show, but look it up. You'll see I'm right. Jim says, DeSantis has already activated the state guard to assist with stopping migrants from coming in. Thanks, Jim. And Jim is in Florida. Jim Orrick is in Florida, and he knows what's going on there. And I'm telling you right now, DeSantis has this together, guys. I am not a DeSantis hater by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I think DeSantis is where he needs to be, a good governor in a great state. Okay? Yes, we're in the great state of Texas, but Florida is a great state too, and I'm getting to it. Hang on a minute. So, other notes that I've made about this scenario. American security, as it said in the Politico article, that American security could be jeopardized. Now, if everyone's following that American security could be jeopardized, Florida is being jeopardized, what kind of plan might this fall into? It's like we're in an election cycle or something. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So not only is America threatened, but so is Florida. America, where we patriots love to live. And Florida, a very secure home for patriots. I don't think there's any coincidence here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, call me. Call me, not in the sense that Blondie and Debbie Harry sang, but call me, whatever you want to call me. But I'm a truth seeker. And I'm looking for the truth. And what I'm finding is that this is somehow connected. I can elaborate. But if you really want to know the deep and dirty, ugly stuff, bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. We're about halfway through the show. So I want to recap a couple things. Okay. Bitcoin might be in one of those wedge things, right? Not a wedgie, but a wedge thing, which it means possibly bearish. If you're waiting for a pullback, it might be coming soon. Another one is, and especially this, we're broadcasting right now on KCYP The City, 97.7 FM, right here in McAllen, Texas. We're broadcasting out of the McAllen Creative Incubator, which there's not a lot of stuff going on right now because it's spring break. We're also going out on YouTube and Facebook. We're going out on Radio Garden and TuneIn Radio. Just so you know, you can check us out. And I'm also on our Restream Studio. This is new. This is the first time I've done this. Restream Studio desktop here. And I'm seeing everyone's comments from all the different platforms that we're going out on. So that said, I can't see you if you're in Facebook. So if I'm not calling up your name, it's not because you're not there. It's just because I can't see you. If you comment, I will see your comments. Please know that. And we'll talk about whatever, things you want to talk about. Like this DeSantis guy, good guy, activating the National Guard, the State Guard, which he shouldn't have to do, but he does. Why? Again, we'll go back, wrapping it in. The Haitians coming over are probably not going to be, it is a humanitarian crisis. And these are actually probably legitimate, unlike the ones that, are 400 pounds and they've been walking from Guatemala. Yeah. Yeah. That's a real situation. It's happening every day. They are not what you would call refugees. They could potentially be voters though. So American security is threatened. Does this surprise us? It shouldn't. We are in an election cycle. Okay, we've been talking about this, ladies and gents. We've been talking about this for a long time. That once we're in this cycle, if you don't believe me, take your Wayback Machine and go to 2020. When things got rolling in 2020, just prior to November of 2020, when things got rolling, we had chaos in the streets. BLM, Antifa, burn, baby, burn. They don't need BLM anymore. They don't need Antifa anymore. They're importing them now. You think we're getting the best of the best of all these nations? They're emptying out their prisons, ladies and gentlemen. They're emptying out their insane asylums. Oh, and you know they're getting kickbacks from the deep state, the cabal, whatever you want to call them. International Criminal Syndicate is a good one. Okay? We're getting it all. Ladies and gentlemen, as Donald J. Trump has said, this is make or break. 2024 is make or break. We are fighting for the life of our nation. And we who comment, we who throw things up there on different, social media platforms, people who do the thing that I'm doing right now, we are digital warriors. We are called digital warriors because this is an information war, as Alex Jones had, monikered, if you will, many years back. This is an informational war and we don't intend to lose. Okay? It gets deeper. BitcoinOtter.media@gmail.com. If you want to go into the weeds or down a rabbit hole, there's a lot of them. And you got things that you think I might need to know, BitcoinOtter.media@gmail.com. So, another insight about this Haiti thing. Florida. Now, yes, geography dictates that Florida is close to Haiti and vice versa. So you might say, well, maybe that doesn't, that means it's just a coincidence. But, a lot of places could have an uprising, but don't. Think about it that way. Think about it however you want. You do you. But please, think about it. Okay? There are things afoot. Treachery is one of them. Jim says, I say Trump Abbott for 4 years, then Abbott DeSantis for 8 years. I'll be honest with you. I don't know that much about DeSantis' stuff, Jim. And then DeSantis. Yeah, I see where you're going there. And I'm not saying DeSantis is a bad guy in any way. And I honestly think that he played a role from the good guys. The white hats are working their end, and the bad guys, the cabal, those people, Illuminati, if you want to call them that, they're coming from the evil end, right? So I still think, though, to a degree, and again, I don't know that much about DeSantis. He's not of, Texas. I think Abbott, I like the guy. I voted for the guy, and I will again, depending on the opposition. And I would do it. I really would vote for Abbott again. But he's a politician from before Trump came in, meaning he's a politician. You get where I'm going? Trump is not a politician. That's one of the reasons why he so many of us love him, because he's not a politician. He is legitimately for the working man. Now you might say, oh, that, he's a mean guy. He tweets mean. He doesn't. Say what you will. Say what you will. But the mass voters that he got in 2020, massive amount of voters that were not counted, and the massive amount of voters this 2024 election cycle that will be counted, will tell the truth of the tale. My opinion. So this is where we get into a little bit this Jimmy barbecue Chevalier or Chever Nazi, whatever it is. Barbecue. This is from the Irish Times. The violent warlord calling the shots in Haiti slums, Jimmy Cherizer, insists his nickname Barbecue or Barbecue comes from his mother's roadside fried chicken joint rather than a reputation for burning people alive. Which one do you think it is? How do you think a warlord gains power? Maybe turn a few human beings into crispy critters. That would do it. That would do it. But no, it's got to be his mom's roadside fried chicken stand. How close to fried chicken is barbecue? Yeah. I think we know where this is going. DeSantis needs more experience before presidency. Oh, I agree. That's why he's in the perfect place. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on in Florida. But the fact of the matter is, he's the man for the job, I believe. This is on X. I like to report things from X because, X is as open of a social media platform as you can get nowadays. So, they're going to be attacked. They are attacked all the time. So, OAN, One America News. This guy was pretty good. Chris Boyle is his name. His reporting is pretty snarky, if you appreciate snark, as I do. So, Trump charges dropped as Georgia case against the 45th president continues to unravel quicker than Fannie Lewis's love life. Yeah. And that's pretty quick because Fannie and her lover, Nathan Wade, they got outed. They got more than outed. They are getting, hopefully, served with justice. A huge, heaping, plateful, and seconds and thirds of justice is what they need. So the video, and this is on X again, Chris Boyle, look him up if you're interested in seeing the video. So he's reporting for OAN. He's telling us humorously that the 6 drop charges were related to the allegation that Donald Trump tried to get Georgia officials to change the election results in his favor. Now, anyone who is other than a TV watcher and a communist sympathizer will know that that was not what that call was about. When Donald Trump made that call to the rhino in Georgia, Kemp, I believe his name's Kemp, he said, and he released prior to not prior to lies, because Adam Shifty, Pencil Neck Schiff had already lied about it. He was going on the record with lies. So Trump says, I got nothing to lie about. And he released the transcript of the call. That's the one he called a perfect call. So he calls this jackass Kemp, right? And he says, hey, can you find the votes? Can you find the votes? Because Donald Trump knew, as many of us also knew, that they were destroying Donald Trump votes. They were there, and then they weren't, right? And we can watch this on live TV. If you don't believe me, if you watch a lot of TV, you can't see it on live TV anymore. We did this last election. I can't remember what it was. If anybody remembers, please come up with that. But on live TV, while the 2020 election was going, you could see, I think this was CNN, you could see the totals of the Biden votes and the Trump votes. Trump was up well. And they flipped. Meaning Trump actually lost votes live on TV. So he calls up Kemp and says, hey, can you find the votes? Meaning he knows Kemp he's giving, this is what Donald Trump does, ladies and gents. He gives the bad guys a chance. More than many of us would do. He gives them an opportunity to come clean, to do the right thing. But seldom do they. And you might ask yourself, well, can people be really that bad? Oh, yes. Yes, they can, because they've done some things that are so decrepit and evil, okay? They do things so evil that they're recorded by the usual suspects, the bad guys. And then they're brought up every time they want to come clean, or every time they might get a pinch or a prick in their heart saying, this would be really evil if I do or say this. Remember what you did and said here? We're going to show everybody. So that's what I'm getting at. Sue says, did you see the YouTube video ad of Biden asking Americans to donate to his campaign? Wow. Oh, man. Oh, haven't the Chinese been doing that all along? Why do we got to do it? Americans and Chinese? Come on, pick one, Joe. He wants everything. He wants his cake and eat it too. with Chinese lettering and American lettering, English lettering at the same time. I didn't see that though, Sue. Interesting. Asking for Americans to. Oh, by the way, Dad, if you're watching, hi, Dad. Dad turned 80 last week. God bless you, Dad. Love you. So, in this video, Boyle's trying to tell us, this Chris Boyle kid, he looks young. Everybody's kidding me now, right? That they're having to drop these 6 charges. Their case is falling apart, ladies and gentlemen. It is falling apart. All these cases, as they're going to go, and this is me. I'm not trying to pull anybody into my jackpot, but I am willing. I'm not a betting guy, but I'm willing to say on the record, all of these witch hunts, New York, DC, Georgia, all these things, all these charges. I think there were 91 indictments, something like that, some stupid number like that. Election interference at its finest. All of these crews, like the Fannie Nathan Wade crew, oh man, that was a Fannie made in heaven, wasn't it? For them evil people. Well, all of these people are going to see, they're going to notice, and this is going to happen to them. They're going to be exposed, ladies and gents. They're going to be exposed. Their lies, their criminality, all that is going to be exposed, just like the Fannie story. Okay? Fannie and Nathan Wade going to the Bahamas on the Fulton County taxpayer dime, right? All of that stuff. She's overpaying him. She's paying him like $1 million, something like that. Crazy. $500,000. I don't know what it was. It's corruption. All of these indictments, all of these charges are based on corrupt people and corrupt narratives. But they're all going to see their comeuppance. That's my prediction, right? So, these show trials are not going the way the communists had hoped. But they're not going to quit. They're not going to quit. And yes, and I think, we might get into semantics that, Otter, they're not all communists. Yeah, you're right. So, in deference to my buddy Lou's counsel, they are collectivists of one stripe or another. And I've always said that a socialist is only an AK away from a communist. You give a socialist an AK, they're going to be your next communist. I guarantee it. Now, this is another interesting thing, okay? And we got a little bit of talk on this, and I'll let you go. Thank you for watching, by the way. I wouldn't do this if I didn't think it was something that you could benefit by. But, man, it's a lot of fun when you guys come on and you participate. Thank you. Even if you're listening, also, to those who listen when they can, because not all of us can be around at 6 o'clock on every Thursday, I appreciate you listening, too. And I get, the comments later, or I get emails on bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com, and I love getting those, too. I answer them all. So, what is behind this bill to ban TikTok? Has anybody heard about this bill to ban TikTok? Oh, it's evil. It's Chinese. Do we get to pick our enemies? And the enemies are Chinese, yet we're taking kickbacks from the Chinese if we're in the Biden administration. How does that work? I don't know. But there's a bill out there to ban TikTok in the United States. To an average American, TikTok is probably ugly looking. Millions and millions of Americans use it. But if you're just a TV watcher and that's your education level, then you probably can't appreciate the fact that the ugliest things of society that the bad guys want to get rid of are sometimes just a ploy to get rid of the good things. Let me explain. So everybody, can say, well, it's a Chinese company. Why not get rid of it? They've got spyware. Correct. You're very correct. So does Meta. Anyway, the government is going to protect us from China with legislation, right? Right? The government is, so when they propose this legislation, we are supposed to believe that the government is proposing this legislation to protect us from TikTok, right? Right? No. First of all, our representatives don't write legislation. Well, Otter, isn't that exactly what they're put in office for? Yes, it is. But do they do it? No. Lobbyists. Okay? Lobbyists write legislation for like pharma companies and so forth. They're the ones, lawyers, lobbyists / they write the legislation. And then they put it forward to their sponsored, owned, bought, whatever you want to use, politician, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. They're all in it, right? Maybe not all of them, but there's just a few. There's only a few, okay, that are still standing strong and are Americans first, politicians second. So the legislation that we see, the 7,000 pages or whatever, come on, man. You're not going to have a senator or a congressman writing that kind of stuff up. Anyway, I have a screenshot of a part of this bill that's going to ban TikTok, okay? And in some of its locations where it defines terms, it has the definition for a covered company, a company that is covered under this legislation, okay? So in general, the term covered company means an entity that operates directly or indirectly, including through a parent company, subsidiary, or affiliate, a website. Wait a minute. A covered company could be a website. Stash that one away. Desktop application, mobile application, or augmented or immersive technology application that permits a user to create an account or profile. Wow. Generate, share, and view text, images, real-time communications, like what we're doing right now. Communication, keyword, has more than 1 million monthly active users. With respect to at least 2 of the 3 months preceding the date on which a relevant determination of the president. The determination of the president is in this bill. So it's not a determination of our elected representatives in Congress. No. This puts all of this massive authority in the hands of the president. One branch of 3, the executive branch. So in this bill, it says that at the determination of the president, this stuff can be cut off. This ostensibly, pretend for TV watchers, this is a pretended legislation to ban TikTok. What is it really? To create a communication blackout. It's to come after your website, to come after your social media, to come after mine, everyone who is telling truth by the determination of the president. Now, you and I both know that the guy that's in there is just the resident. Now, he could be a resident of an old folks home or something like that, but he resides in the White House for now. And many people call him president. So that's who they're referring to right now. Determination of the president as to whether or not a platform is taken down. So this is their end around. Ladies and gentlemen, the deep state, the cabal, the Khazarian mafia, whatever you want to call them, they will not quit. They will not stop until they're stopped. Okay? Mark my words. They will not stop until stopped. This is an end around to them trying to outmaneuver X and others. Also, going into full election cycle, any truth coming out will be stamped out by this type of legislation. At the determination of the president, says the bill. Yeah. So, the TikTok thing is not about TikTok. They're just pretending again. They just want us to buy in to their sham, their scam, and they're going to put it to us again, if they can. So, in closing, in June of 2020, we were warned of a central communications blackout. Drop 4414 for those of you in the know. Do you think there will be a delta or a nexus to June of 2024? Let me know. And if I'm talking rather cryptically, it is on purpose. If you really want to know why some of us know what we know. Hit me up, bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. I love talking to you. I love seeing you in the comments. I'm going to try and work it out so I could have Facebook also to see when you pop in and visit, but don't comment. Thank you for all you who do that. And also for all you who listen to me as, a podcast that's, at your convenience. I have to do that a lot too. I don't listen to too many live shows. I listen to a lot, but I don't listen to too many live ones. But we were live and we are live now. And I thank you. I thank you and God bless you. God bless your families. And I don't want to forget to say goodbye to Dad. Bye, Dad. Thank you very much for tuning in, for listening, commenting. Please throw me what you have if you want to talk about it next week or whenever, or you want my insight on it. bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. We'll be back at you on 97.7 KCYP, the city, next week. God bless you.
This is the Bitcoin Otter Radio Show
Oh my God, I love you so much.
on 97.7 FM